Okay, Garcia, how are you feeling about Palantir?
I feel great. I mean, it's been pretty awesome seeing the you know just so many new round of customers who are presenting and showing their passion with the results that they're getting with Palantir. So I mean that with AIP. I mean officially, so we'll be in the S&P on Monday morning, right? It,
Yeah.
it basically happened after hours today. Oh
Yep.
my gosh. I can't wait whenever they show like the heat map for the S&P, like be able to zoom in and see where Palantir is at. So I wonder what category they're going to be on. Are they going to be on information technology or
Good
like
point.
how they have the
They should make a new
subcategories?
category called winning and just put them under that. Just like looking.
Like I love I
Whenever
think
whenever the
I think it
sector
was
shows up, you just see who is it? I don't remember who the hell the guy is. Sorry, Garcia, I cut you off. Go ahead.
Oh no. I don't know if you guys saw that picture that Chaos Perez he shared. It's like the S&P and it's just a black hole in the middle and it just says Palantir. Like that's how I want it to show up every time. I want to have like a little edit, to be able to do that every time. But I mean, all in all, I mean, it just feels great. I mean, I'm just man, it's. I thought it would be hard to be holding on to the shares at these levels. Like when I was holding it in the 20s, I was thinking, man, if it hits the 30s, the 40s, I wonder if I'll start getting the itch to diversify more. Like it's, I mean, not at all. Like I know there's gonna be downturns. There's gonna be waves where there might be pullbacks, and everyone's gonna start saying, "Oh my gosh, you should have diversified more." But I mean, I'm seeing 5 years ahead, and I'm just thinking, like, dude, like, there's no way I want to get off this ride so soon. I mean, I kind of feel like I wonder if this is how the early Tesla investors felt when they were buying before getting into the S&P, buying accumulating shares in Tesla and increasing their position. So for me, I'm just hey, so far it's been a winner. They're kicking ass. They're going to keep winning. So I'm just going to keep holding on. Like I'm not going to overthink it. So
So let me ask you one more question, Garcia, because your situation is actually really interesting, and I think it is emblematic of a lot of other people's situation.
mhm.
You've held on to Palantir pretty much all year, and your portfolio, which you share publicly, Garcia's Twitter is in the chat, went from
Mhm.
basically 60,000 ish to 170, and
Yeah.
that's just
Yeah.
incredible. It's like I think a lot of times we forget
Yeah.
most people in the world, particularly in America, they have barely $500 to pay for bills, and you're sitting on 170. And the majority of that came from these Palantir shares at $20.
Yep.
I know you also think, hey, probably we'll talk about valuation, but the valuation is getting a little up there. How are you thinking when you're sitting on all these gains that is constructed the majority of your portfolio? Are you scared at all of losing these if we get a dip, or are you kind of just like, well, I'm here for the ride and we'll just play it out for the next 10 years?
Yeah, and it's mostly that. It's mostly that I am here for the ride, but thankfully because of the strategy as far as selling covered calls, cash secured puts that I've been learning. I mean, I started learning it from TJ watching his lives, but after doing it myself, because it all has to do with like how comfortable you get to doing it yourself, not copying somebody's trade. Like, oh, I saw TJ do this. I'm gonna copy that trade and oh, he sold now. Okay, I'm gonna sell now. Oh, he bought now. I'm gonna buy now. That's kind of a recipe for disaster because what happens when they stop posting or they go on vacation and you got options expiring that week? What are you going to do? Or what happens when Palantir pops 20% overnight and you're holding covered calls? So for me, I've been selling calls and puts all year. And the fact that I'm still holding on to every single share,
It means
um,
you know how to fucking manage those calls and puts.
I've been fucking managing them. I mean, I'm not gonna pat myself on the back too hard, but I mean, everybody who's been screaming and yelling that, oh, good luck getting your shares called away. They're gonna get called away tomorrow. It's like if you guys knew how to roll, I mean, you wouldn't really get into this problem.
Yeah.
Um, so that's, I mean, so I am along for the ride, but I am gonna be making money on the ups and downs along the way, in a responsible manner. And by that I mean I'm not gonna be selling it on my entire position. I'm not gonna get over leveraged. I'm gonna do it in 10, 20% of the portfolio and just kind of manage that in the
You,
trades.
you even bought some puts just for some protection, right? These are sort of
Yeah.
responsible things you
And I got
do.
rid of them. Yeah, and I lost like maybe like 20, 30% on them and I got rid of them earlier today before even
Mhm.
kept running up. But overall, I'm not going to be overthinking it and thinking that I'm smarter than the market. Like, oh, I think it's going to go up tomorrow. I'm going to start buying calls. Like I haven't played that game this year and I'm not going to, you know, I'm not gonna do
Just
it.
for curiosity, have you tried comparing this output, great output that you achieved, compared with, okay, let's say if I just bought the shares and did nothing?
Yeah. Yeah. And that's something that I do maybe once a week, once every 2 weeks, is I'll kind of look at, okay, what has Palantir done year to date? What am I doing year to date? But in my case, I went all in on February 4th, basically the day before their earnings that they had
Literally
the big
the
move.
day before.
So that's kind of the benchmark that I start as far as, okay, ever since I went all in Palantir, am I outperforming the underline? Because if I'm not, then I'm just wasting a bunch of time trying to do all these things. And if I'm underperforming, then I might as well just stop doing everything, just hold it and go to sleep and wake up in 10 years, and I would be better off there. But I am outperforming it by 20%, I think, so far, 25%. So that's basically all money that I've used to buy more shares. So every amount of every dollar I get goes to buy more shares.